Good morning, everyone. Okay, that was a caffeine check. Let me try it one more time. Good morning, everyone. Fantastic. Okay. There is caffeine around the corner, but that's available afterwards. First of all, my name is Ed Swallow. I'm the Senior Vice President for Civil Systems at the Aerospace Corporation. The sponsor for building out this facility wanted to get us located close to our customers. And so we're one of three organizations here within the Aerospace Corporation. So we have our cybersecurity group. We have our engineering and technology group, which is part of our engineering matrix. And then we have our civil systems group, which is a customer-facing organization for NOAA and NASA. So this was a perfect location, not only for the proximity to NASA Goddard, but also it's a nice way to balance between Silver Spring and Suitland for the NOAA facility. So we're halfway in between. So it's uniquely suited for that. It's also uniquely suited because of the skill sets that we can get in this local area. And so as we build out into a national company, building our engineering matrix, we can draw upon talent in this local area, and this facility allows us to be able to attract more talent to the company. So that's important to us. I wanted to recognize our special guests. We have quite a few here. You're going to hear from Steve Isakowitz, our CEO, Wayne Goodman, our Executive Vice President, and Deputy Chief County Executive Floyd Holt. But also with us, David Iannucci, who's President and CEO of the PG County Economic Development Authority, Pradeep Ganguly, his Executive Vice President, Maya Kapoor, Director of Business Development. Obviously did a good job because we're here. I come from a business development background. I got to call out the BD guy. I think Terry Holly is here, the Aerospace Industry Program Manager for the state of Maryland. Thank you for joining us. Emmett Jordan, Mayor of Greenbelt. Thank you for coming. Nicole Ard, the Greenbelt City Manager. Thank you for being here. Is Judith Davis here? I did not get a chance to meet you. I'm sorry about that. Mayor Pro Tem of the city of Greenbelt. And then also from the city, Edward Putins and Lita Mock. So thank you for joining us. So with that, let me get immediately to my boss, the Chief Executive Officer of Aerospace Corporation, Steve Isakowitz.
Well, thank you, Ed. It's a great honor to be here with our guests that are joining us at today's ribbon cutting, and it's great here to be with our employees. We have a few extra ones here today because of the shutdown, so the things we have to go through. But I'm really delighted that you were able to join us as the guests here today, representing Prince George's County, and certainly give Angela our regards. But Floyd, thank you very much for coming. And appreciate the mayor. He promised us all green lights for our commuters to come to work. So, yeah. And David, for you again for the Economic Development Corporation. You do very important work in terms of bringing companies like ours. My employees have heard me talk about this, but I do think it's important to realize, where we are as a nation with regard to America's space program. I came to this company 2 years ago, and people often ask me, why did I come here? And the answer is pretty easy. Today is the most exciting time in America's space program in its history. Going back to the Apollo program and the first attempts to send humans into space. For the first time, we have all major sectors of the space activity going through dramatic change. In the national security area, we have a lot of competition from our adversaries, what they often refer to as the great powers competition from China and Russia. And it's making us completely rethink how we go about architecting what we do in space today. So things that we take for granted, like GPS and some of the communication stuff that we all depend on, and things for our safety, like missile warning and so on. How we go about collecting that information is going to look very different in the future than how we do it now. In the civil space program, we're of course very involved with NASA, who's also going through major changes themselves. They want to send humans back to the moon, sometime onto Mars. We got replacement coming up for the Hubble Space Telescope with regards to Webb. I was just talking to one of our employees this morning about OSIRIS-REx, which was the Goddard project to actually get a sample from an asteroid and try to bring it back here. So it's really an incredibly vibrant time. And also in the commercial sector, with SpaceX and, Jeff Bezos wanting to get into the game, and these small startup companies. And more importantly, some of the technologies that we're seeing today in artificial intelligence and robotics and additive manufacturing is transforming the way we do space. So what does it have to do with aerospace? Aerospace is a nonprofit dedicated to U.S. leadership in space across all the customers that we work with, from DoD, intelligence community, NASA, other government agencies in the commercial sector. And as we've seen this important growth in space and what's being dealt with at the most senior levels of space, aerospace is uniquely suited to work across all these customers. So what has that made us have to do in the last couple of years is sort of rethink how we've positioned ourselves. We have often been known as a California company, but the truth of the matter is we are a national company with a national presence, with national customers, and it's important that we represent ourselves as a national company. And beyond the representation is actually putting stakes in the ground and new homes that we're trying to set up. And so what today represents is putting our stake in the ground here in Greenbelt in Prince George's County, working with critical customers like NASA and NOAA, as we do believe the future of space is going to start in buildings like this and many others. And we appreciate all that you've done to accommodate us being here. I'm very excited to be here. Also want to thank our employees for all the hard work that you're doing and the wonderful things that are going to come from this particular facility. We've been in this area in Prince George's County for a while, but we've been kind of scattered, so it is really great to finally have a place that we can call our own in a beautiful home like this. So with that, I want to introduce our Executive Vice President, Wayne Goodman, who'll talk a little bit more about some of the things we're doing with the customers here.
Thank you, Steve. And it really is a pleasure to be here. A location like this is a great reminder of the things that aerospace does, and it's great to have that reminder that we have such talent in all our offices around the country. We think of ourselves, as Steve said, as a national company, and here, located in this location, we have tremendous talent supporting both NASA, NOAA, our cybersecurity areas, and I just want to touch on a few of the areas that are really critical to the things that we do in supporting of our nation. And much of this work is in support of NASA and NOAA, but I'll also touch on some other work. And some of it you're all very well aware of when you either turn on the news or you look up for a hurricane that's coming in. You see the work that we do to help support NOAA to make sure that those pictures are there, that data, that information is there, that's saving lives, that's saving property. That's a critical part of what we do. We work jointly with NOAA, we work jointly with NASA in developing not only the end state, but also in the beginning, what should the architecture of these satellites look like up front, getting that right, going through the production, making sure they're produced right. And then in the end, in helping them in operations to make sure they're providing the kind of data that's necessary in order to meet their end state. And there's other work that we do. We also provide security to NASA. And so when you think about satellites today, they're very different than they were many, many years ago. They're essentially flying very sophisticated computer systems with sensors on board. And think about computer systems today, what are they vulnerable to? They're vulnerable to cyber attacks. Well, satellites are also vulnerable to cyber attacks. And it's our team here, our security team, that's looking across and how do we protect our national assets and make sure that they are secure from the bad guys. Another area of focus is laser communications. This is an area that Aerospace has a strategic initiative. We're focused more on what we can do with laser communications to improve the data rates from our satellite systems, for cross communications, and this is a growing and emerging area, and Aerospace is taking a leadership role. Excuse me. We also support the TDRS system. That is a geosynchronous communication satellite that's also operated by NASA. It's important in order to have communications with the International Space Station. It allows the International Space Station to communicate anywhere around the world. And it's also used by other critical assets throughout the United States. But But I want to talk about the other team. We think of ourselves as a national company, and there's also the folks here that support our ETG group, which is our engineering and technology office. And they support a number of customers. And the key aspect of them supporting those customers, it's just not NASA and NOAA, as we've been talking about, but they have context of what's going on with the intelligence community, what's with the Air Force. So things that we learn about sensors or laser communications or liquid apogee engines on other rockets and satellites, we can transfer those skills back and forth between NASA and NOAA and other partners. So the advantage of having a team like that, in a location like this, is that we can reach back to our expertise that exists back in El Segundo, that exists back in Chantilly. We are a company of 4,000 people of tremendous technical talent, and this is a way to reach around the entire country in order to support those that we need. So I really appreciate the work that everyone has done here in order to make it successful, and I would like to introduce the Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Floyd Hoyt, if he would like to say a few words. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. On behalf of County Executive Angela Alsobrooks, I'm delighted to be here to participate with you in this ribbon cutting for the Aerospace Corporation. We understand the nexus between the work that you do and its relationship to NASA and its 11,000 employees and NOAA. But not only that, organizations like Northrop Grumman and Sigma Corporation. And we believe that you've landed in the right place, Greenbelt and Prince George's County in general. I want to congratulate Steve Isakowitz. I've had 2 or 3 opportunities to get the emphasis right on that last name, so I hope I got that right, as the president and CEO of the corporation. And I want to thank him and all of you for choosing Prince George's County and Greenbelt, Maryland. I believe the Aerospace Corporation has chosen the right place because we want to be friendly to the science and technology and aerospace industry as we move forward. In fact, Prince George's County wants to be corporate and business friendly as a general rule. And you will discover that we will do everything practicable to be welcoming for you as you come into Prince George's County. Prince George's County, I believe, is becoming the technology hub for this area. When I was a kid, it was Atari, and but I believe in the future, kids will look at this and look at discovering the dark side of the moon as just child's play. And that's important as we move forward. So I want to welcome you as you expand into Prince George's County. We have no doubt that it will be a good relationship, business relationship, and we look forward to working with you in every way we can. Thank you very much.
So with that, I've got a little toy. I'd like to invite Steve and Terry to come up and join us in the official ribbon cutting.
So our original plan is we were going to run through this. There was going to be fire on both sides, like like the Ravens do it, But the fire code said we couldn't do the fire thing. So here you go. All right, let's see if we can do this.
1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
I do want the Albany light thing.
Ticket, you can get another ticket.
Steve, we're going to do the...
Oh, you can give it to me. What do we have?
Okay, who hangs the scissors?
Okay.
That's back to me.
Yeah, you can offer it.
So with that, just a quick presentation that we'd like to make, Floyd. This is a piece of space debris. So you've heard about space debris. So every country is responsible for collecting the space debris of everything that it launches. As it turns out, Aerospace Corporation is the responsible organization designated by the U.S. government to be the repository for all of that space debris. So we have the nation's space attic in our facility. And so what we'd like to present you with is a Delta II Stage 2 fuel tank. A piece of that came back, a little description of where it came from. But this is an official piece of space debris. There aren't a lot of those running around. I think we made about, I believe we made about 3 dozen total of these. So
I don't have to turn this over to Angela Alsobrooks.
let's put this on the back. So and so did you get them? And Terry, where'd Terry go? Terry Holly. Wanted to make sure, Terry, that you got one as well. Thank you very much. For the state. Thank you very much. Awesome. So with that, please join us in the conference room over here for some refreshments. Want to thank you very much. And we now declare this facility operational.